Welcome back to Riding Bikes in San Diego. We are in the beautiful neighborhood of Mission Hills on Fort Stockton riding west towards Presidio Park. As you can see, there's a bike lane in this residential neighborhood full of historic homes, and it's nice and calm and quiet. I wanted to bring you here because I read an article back in February on kpbs.org, which I'll link to in the bio. It was called District 4 Residents Say New City Pavement Plan is Redlining Against Them. And it covers the story of how the city has like a new metric they want to put in place for the quote best value approach to fixing roads. But what ends up happening is that they end up ignoring roads that need a lot of repair, roads that are failed or serious or very poor, and they do projects like this. We are now on new slurry seal roads. If you would have asked me to identify one neighborhood that did not need new roads or slurry seal, I would have told you Mission Hills. This neighborhood was doing just fine from an infrastructure standpoint. So it's so strange to be biking here and seeing just blocks and blocks and blocks of fresh slurry seal on the road. But this is a wealthy neighborhood, and wealthy neighborhoods get more resources than neighborhoods that are actually in serious need. It's a really interesting article. I recommend reading it. It really just kind of demonstrates how resources, no matter how they're calculated in the city, seem to always go to the people who need it least. And it's a pretty depressing state of affairs. There was nothing wrong with riding on this road beforehand. And I feel like when we're cyclists, those of us who are out on bikes, we're hyper aware of the road conditions. This neighborhood did not need this.
Mind if I go? Thanks.
But here we are. When people who have homes like this, who live in places like this, want resources from the city, they get them. And you have neighborhoods that are all over District 9, District 4, other places in the city that, the roads are looking like they have been bombed or something like that. Not that I live in a underfunded neighborhood, but I mean there are some alleyways in my own neighborhood that have no pavement at all and are just dirt. But sure, Mission Hills needed some slurry seal. Anyway, I just want to take you along with me. One of the things about riding a bicycle is that you become hyper aware of what is happening in the city. You become hyper aware of the conditions in all kinds of places. Not for nothing, this road in some spots could have used that care and attention, but this is going through a park. This should be a fairly low speed area, but this road has more problems on it than the road they actually worked on. That's okay. We're going to keep on going, and we're actually going to ride into the neighborhood of Marina Boulevard. Let me show you something here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I have the footage. We could speed through here and go on through, get to Marina Boulevard, and just look at the road ahead of me here. See all those metal plates? Those things have been there for years, okay? And we're about to make this left on the road. And I know we're going into like an industrial complex. A lot more trucks go through. The road gets beaten up. But there have been metal plates on the road in this area for literally years. It's ridiculous. Check this out. It's just plate after plate, construction that never ends for blocks and blocks. This neighborhood and this industrial area is not the only place where this happens. I live in a neighborhood where there's a street called Hawley that has been torn up for decades, but the next neighborhood over, Kensington, gets new roads and projects done like annually. The inequity that we see in maintenance is wild. So, thanks for coming along with me. Even though the roads are rough, we're still going to drive less and ride a bike. Thanks so much.